The Devils lost, and the Islanders actually won. Islanders are doing well as well. So hopefully he'll call in here in a couple of minutes. There he is. And we have Jim Baumbach on the line. How are you, Jim?
Doing good. How about you, Alex?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for joining us tonight. Just a little background. Jim had done an article on me for Newsday following the death of George Steinbrenner almost 2 years ago. And, I still miss him very much, but we had him on the show that day. We had Jim on the show that day, and he's here with us again. How are you?
Doing good. It's crazy to think that's nearly 2 years ago now.
My contact with you today started with the Burnett scenario. People saying that he could be going to Pittsburgh. I haven't been hearing much about that. Have you been following the situation? Are they going to pull a deal together? What's the deal?
Well, it was very clear, or I don't want to say very clear. In the last couple of weeks, you definitely got the sense that in a perfect world, with all the starters the Yankees have been compiling, in a perfect world, Burnett would not be on this roster because now they have not only the talent to fill five, but they still have depth behind that. And if you have Burnett on this roster, you're just not going to put him in the bullpen. You're paying him too much money, and he's got a track record, too, of being successful at times. So it doesn't serve you anything to put him in the bullpen because he's just not going to help you there. If he's going to help you anywhere, it's going to be in the rotation. But when you have people that you know are most likely being better than him, it just doesn't make sense to have him on this roster. So it seemed likely that they would like him to not be on the roster, but could they possibly do it? I mean, I think if you asked me in the recent weeks, I would say I didn't think it was going to be happening. I think it was possible. But here we go. The Pirates news, it comes out, I guess it was yesterday when the first started reports coming out. And the thing that I always think about when we see talks of trades that make it to the newspapers, especially when it involves the Yankees, is that, they guard things very closely. And when news like this comes out there, I tend to think it's pretty serious. I tend to think that this is not just the Pirates and the Yankees having one phone call and saying, hey, are you interested in Burnett? Hey, maybe let's talk about it sometime. I tend to think that this is pretty far down the line. Now, obviously, there could be a hurdle, there could be an obstacle, something might blow up in the deal. Without a doubt, I think that's a possibility. But right now, I think the odds are he's going to be in the Pirates uniform right now. I think I'd bet more that he's going to be with the Pirates than the Yankees right now. I think it's that far along. I have not heard anything today to lead me that it's further along than what we saw in the papers say, but it just seems like they're too far along their lines of talking to back away from it. It seems like the biggest issue is obviously how much money Burnett's contract is on the Yankees going to pay, and that is an issue, but I don't think the Yankees are going to let that stand in the way because whatever money they save, they're going to just spend on a DH and bring back Chavez, and they'll probably get someone like Raul Ibanez to come in and be a DH pinch hitter, and it just seems like the most likely and most appealing scenario for the Yankees here.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. And on the Mets side, I mean, nothing really new except they got rid of Reyes, which is old news now, but I still think that'll have an effect, although I'm not sure how healthy Reyes will be. He's been injured all these years, and it could just continue down in Miami. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, he's an electrifying player. When he's on the field, he's definitely one of the best players in baseball, especially when he's healthy. But like you said, I mean, he's just not healthy all the time. I mean, his track record is he plays 100 to 125 games. One year he'll play 150, and the next year he'll play 80 or 90, and that's a pretty big gamble to give $100+ million to a guy like that. So, it's tough for the Mets. Obviously, he was an important player for them because right now there's just not that much game changers. There's not that many real talented top echelon players on that roster. But you know what? It's hard to argue when the guy has such a deep injury history, and his game relies so much on his speed. What happens in 3 years and he loses a step? I mean, that really does hurt his value. And I see what the Florida Marlins are doing. I guess they're Miami Marlins now. I see what the Miami Marlins are doing. Obviously, with the new stadium, they want people in the seats. It's a tough, they've always been a tough drawer down in Miami. They obviously want to show that building a new stadium down there was the right thing to do from the city standpoint. They want people to come, and they went out and had an absolute spending spree to bring players in. But their history is they sign them all now, and 2 years from now they break it all down, and it's bad for baseball. I mean, I hate to see it happen again, but it, history tells us it will.
Out in Los Angeles, obviously, the Yankees have to deal with the Angels and Albert Pujols. And to me, I think Pujols is like LeBron in the sense that he left the town that really cared for him, for the money. And I don't like players like that in the sense that if you want to be loyal to a team, if you want to be the face of a franchise, you don't just leave the city, and that's what he did, and he did it for the money. So, I'm not sure.
Especially legacy-wise. I think Posada is a perfect example. This is a guy who, he wouldn't have left for the money. Or I guess, he knew he wasn't going to get a job with the Yankees in this coming year. He could have gone to another team and probably got $1 million or $2 million. Obviously, he's not going there for the money, but he's looking to continue playing. But the reason why he didn't was clearly because he valued being a Yankee from start to finish. And these days, that doesn't happen too often. So, and especially when you're someone like Pujols, who's going to be a first-ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best players to ever play this game, is up there with all the best hitters of all time. And he could have been a Cardinal great. He could have been a Cardinal from start to finish. Yes, the Angels offered him more money, significantly more money. But when you're talking $220 million, $250 million, or $200 million to $250 million, it's hard to see that huge a difference because that's monopoly money once you get to that point. His family set up for generations after generations. So, I agree with you. It's tough to see someone leave a situation like that because he could have been one of those guys who, 50 years from now would be coming back to the Hall of Fame or coming back to Cardinal games as the face of the Cardinals for as long as he's with us among the living. He would be the face of the Cardinals, and obviously that's not the case anymore.
Prince Fielder signs with the Tigers, and I think the Tigers a very potent team, and with a 24-win pitcher once again, the Tigers are going to be pretty good in the Midwest.
Yeah, when you have Justin Verlander pitching every fifth day, that automatically gives you a step up on everybody. And now with a 3-4 of Miguel Cabrera and Prince Fielder, those are two tough. You can't can't pitch around one of them because you got the other one waiting for you. One of them is going to hurt you. It just every game it's going to be hard to imagine the two of them going a total of 0-for-8. One of them is going to hurt you. So those two players combined with Verlander, they've always had a strong bullpen. They're going to be a force. They're going to be a contender without a doubt. And I think right now going into the season, I'd be surprised if they were not in the playoffs again.
Now, of course, the Tigers kind of were held by the Yankees straining, bases loaded, two opportunities, but they were pretty good.
Yeah, and it was a fun all-around postseason, I thought, for baseball. Even that Yankees game, as tough as it was for Yankees fans to watch that, so many chances go by. That was one of those games where each inning you were like, how is this happening? How is this happening? And yes, it was incredibly tough for Yankee fans to accept that one because that was a game they obviously should have won. But the fact of the matter is, I'm just coming from an entertainment standpoint. I thought that game was one of the better baseball games to watch, just because it really showed you how tough that game can be and how really it comes down to where the ball bounces on any given day.